All right, friends, we're back for the fourth and final card in the Marvelous Motion Make and Takes. This is what I call the never ending card. There are four sides to this card, and you open it from the center. So this is the front. You open it up, there's the second side. You flip these two down and up, that's the third side. It opens here, that's the fourth side. That's where you can write your little sentiment. And then you open it again, and we're back to the first side. So it's called the never ending card because no matter what you do, it keeps opening and closing. So we're going to go step by step. The most important steps will be like the first five where we're setting our base up. That is the most important. Once you have the base, the rest is just adding all the pretty DSP and stamped images, and that's fine. So what we've got here, let's go through our kit. Two 5-inch by 5-inch squares. You should have 6 2¼ by 2¼ inch squares. You will have one 2-inch by 2¼ inch square. So you'll notice it's just a little tiny bit shorter than the rest of them. And then you'll need to cut, I think, 8 1-inch by 1-inch squares from DSP and 10 1-inch by 2¼ inch strips of the DSP. Whatever colors you chose, I chose the Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, and the Daffodil Delight. If you have Coastal Cabana left, that's what I had originally done, but we didn't think you'd have enough, so I redid my card. I personally prefer the Coastal Cabana, but again, your card, your choice. All right, so we're going to take these, and first we're going to score on our Coastal Cabana. Let me just get if you have your paper trimmer, you can use your paper trimmer. I prefer to use the Simply Scored scoring tool. I just think it's easier, at least for me. So I want to score this at 1¼ inches and 3¾ inches. That's going to leave a 2½ inch section in the middle. Then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to score it at 1¼ inches just down to that first score line. So 1¼ and this is really just to create those little squares so you know where to put the glue to get the base to line up. And we're going to do the same thing at 3¾ just from the top down to the score line. We're going to rotate it 180 degrees. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Score it at 1¼ from the top edge down to that score line, and at 3¾ from the top edge down to that score line. So we're going to repeat that on our second piece of 5 by 5. So scoring it all the way down at 1¼ and 3¾ rotating it 90 degrees, scoring it from the top edge down to that first score line at 1¼ and at 3¾ rotating it 180 degrees and doing it again, scoring it at 1¼ down from the top edge to that score line and 3¾ from the top edge to that score line. That is it for the scoring of our card bases. Now we're going to take these two pieces and we are going to cut them in half. So I'm going to put along the top edge of my trimmer, I am going to put one of the horizontal score lines. So I want my horizontal score line to be in the horizontal position because I want to cut through that. So I'm going to put my left edge at 2½. I'm going to cut this in half. I've got two pieces that are 5 inches by 2½ inches. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this piece. I'm going to make sure that horizontal score line is in the horizontal position, putting that left edge at 2½. And we're going to cut that at 2½ inches. I've got two more pieces that are 5 by 2½. So you should have 4 pieces now that are 5 inches by 2½ inches. Okay, we're going to take one set of those. I'm going to put these off to the side for a minute. We're going to take our first set and we're going to put these in the horizontal position on our work surface. Now, we want to put glue in each of these corners, the upper left and right and the bottom left and right, where there's kind of that little 1-inch square. That is where you need to put your glue. I recommend liquid glue. You can use tear and tape. Third Stamp and Seal may not hold up as well, but the liquid glue will definitely hold up very well for this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some in my upper left corner and my lower left corner because I'm going to work with each side at a time. Okay, I know the directions say to put it all in at one time, but we can wait. Now I'm going to take another one of my 2.25 by 5-inch pieces, and I'm going to line this up along this side. I want to make sure all my edges are even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the bottom first. Okay, so now this is going in the vertical position, and I'm going to take this and make sure that I have that bottom edge even and that left edge even. Okay, I'm just going to hold that there for a minute, making sure I've got my edges even. Okay, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to attach this and do the same thing here. I'm going to attach it to the other horizontal piece. And again, I'm going to make sure that my edges are even. So sometimes it helps if you kind of hold it like this. Make sure those middle pieces, they butt right up against one another, but don't overlap. And I'm just going to hold that there kind of until my glue kind of sets. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add glue to the right top and bottom little 1-inch squares. And again, these are going on on the horizontal pieces that we laid flat on our desk. And we're coming and we're going to put the other piece in vertically. So again, make sure you've got edges even. Make sure it butts up against it. Okay, and see, the glue does give you a little extra wiggle room, but sometimes it's got too much wiggle room. Okay, that looks good for now. Okay, so with this, I'm going to I got a little bit of extra glue on the back, so I'm going to use my silicone mat right here so it doesn't stick to my paper. Okay, that is what your finished base should look like. Okay, and it looks like you might have enough room. So once you're sure that it is, see, this is a little bit off. A little bit off. Okay, I'm going to start turning it to, see, it's not quite sticking yet. But I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to open it and close it. So make sure you hold on to those corners when you do turn it. Okay. I'm going to let this kind of settle just a little bit more. These are just a little bit off. You got to make sure that those edges are really even. That is so important to making sure this card works correctly. All right. While we're waiting for those corners to kind of set up, I'm going to put this off and we're going to decorate our first side. So remember, our first side looks like this. So I need 2 pieces of DSP. And you'll notice I did cut my DSP going in 2 different directions because I want the lines to go up and down like that. So I cut one for the front and this is going to be on the last side. So we're going to take these that are cut with the up and down way. Okay. And then I'm going to use 2 of the green. And I picked a different pattern for the green. So I've got these 2 here for my green. It doesn't matter which way you put them. Okay, so those are going to go there. And then we're going to stamp our candles. We're going to take 2 of our square piece of whites, 2.25-inch squares. And we are going to take the triple candle stamp. And I'm going to stamp this in Flirty Flamingo and Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to stamp it 3 times in each square. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go 1, 2. Actually, I don't like the way that looked. I'm going to flip it over for a minute. I got to get better color on there. 1. There you go. 2. I'm going to kind of do this one in the middle. All right. That's it for my Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to stamp it in the Granny Apple Green. All right, this is going to be, we're going to go side by side. So we're going to do each side together. So I'm going to stamp my Granny Apple Green. I'm going to stamp this one in the middle here. Stamp one here and one here. Okay. Now you'll notice I have some white space in there. I'm going to come through with the single candle image, and we're going to stamp that in the Coastal Cabana. Again, stamp in whatever colors you like. This was just what I liked, so I chose to use these colors in this way. So I'm going to stamp it just wherever I see white space. I'm going to stamp a Coastal Cabana candle. I think I end up with about 4 or 5 of them here. I didn't stamp very straight, so my candles are a little crooked, but that's okay. All right, so we've got our candles done. Now, let's go ahead and add some flames. So there are 2 different flame stamps. Close this up. I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight for the flames. We have what I call the triple flame. It's got all 3 flames right on one, and then it's got like the burst flame, which is got, here it is, like the rays coming out of it. This one, the one with the rays, goes around our single candles, and the triples go around our groups of 3. So I'm going to start with my triple candle, and the 2 that are closer, the 2 flames that are closer together go on the right, and the single flame kind of goes on the left. And I'm just going to stamp these kind of right over my triple candle image. Okay. Just do that on the other one. Got to add those little flames. Candles have to have flames on them, right? So I hope you guys like these. I had fun making these. The Never Ending card is my favorite card of all time to make, just because everyone's like, wow. And once you get that card base done, it's really not that hard. It's just decorating it. Okay, so I'm just going to add these flames, a little like radiant flame, if you want to call it that, above my single candle image. All right, now we're ready to adhere these to our card base. All right, so these 2, the stamped ones, are going to go in the big square in the middle. And then we're going to add our designer series paper there and there. So I am going to use a little liquid glue, I think, if I have any left. I'm getting kind of low. Okay. I'm going to add these and add this. All right, and hopefully our card in the corners have set enough. Liquid glue usually sets pretty quickly. I'm actually going to alternate. I'm going to put my one pink one here and one pink one on the left. Again, just my little thing to do. You don't have to do it this way exactly. All right, let's go here. Put that on there. And what I like about this is with these videos, you can come back again and again to see how the card is made. So if you want to make these again, the video will be there for you. As long as you have that QR code, you are good to go. And after the event is over, I will email everyone like an electronic copy of this tutorial. So if you want to save it electronically, I just got to put a little bit more glue on there. All right, that is our first side. Our first side is done. Okay. Now we're going to open it to our second side. Now here's where I recommend you take your bone folder and you really kind of crease those folds on the left and the right. Okay. Now for this one, we're going to do 2, a white one on the top and the bottom, and then we're going to do our DSP on the sides. So let's grab 2 more of our squares. All right, let me put that out of the way for a minute. We're going to do our jar, and I used Coastal Cabana for this. You can use Secret Sea, Memento Black. You can use whatever color you want. Do that. I'm going to do our jar lid. Okay. I'm going to do a happy birthday here. Because who doesn't need birthday cards all the time? Happy birthday. And I'm also going to go ahead and add some more of our triple candles. I'm going to kind of come in here. And I'm going to stamp these. I don't remember what color I did last. Let me just clean this off real quick. I think I put it on my stamp crooked. I think that's my problem. Put it on my block crooked, rather. And then I'm going to come in here with our Flirty Flamingo. I left them open because I still want to stamp a sentiment inside our jar. All right, let's go ahead and stamp Sending a Little Blank Your Way. Let's do that in the Granny Apple Green. And we're going to stamp Party inside that. If I can find my word party. There it is. I'm going to stamp that in our Flirty Flamingo. All right, I'm going to stand. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to do our flame images again. So you know the triple flame and that radiant flame, if that's what we're calling it. I don't know what we're calling it. That's what I'm calling it. So I'll do my, it doesn't really matter which one you do first. I'll do my radiant flame first. And then I will do my triple flame, which is somewhere here. I keep losing things. I found my triple hearts. There it is. Kind of fell off. Okay. And then we'll just do that there. All right. Now we've got our second side stamped. Let's go ahead and add these together. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add on our middle pieces. We're going to add these two right there. Okay. Just two more sides after this. That's all. And this is the fun part. This is just the, you know, like the icing on the cake, so to speak. We've got that layer, the base card all set. And now it's just dressing up each layer with some pretty paper and some stamping. But I guarantee you, whoever you send this birthday card to will be wowed. So we're going to put little 1-inch squares in each of the top and bottom left and right corners. So we got one there. We got one there. Okay. So these are little 1-inch by 1-inch squares. It's going there. All right. And then we've got this here. Okay. And then we've got two bigger ones. Now for this one, I'm going to use this design. I'm going to change it up and I'm going to use that design just to, again, just change it up, make it a little bit more visually interesting. You can use whatever you choose. No right or wrong way. Okay. All right. Now this one, again, you're always opening it from the center. So this one, I got glue right there. How did I manage to do that? Ay, ay, ay. Somehow I managed to get glue there. Let's see if I can use my eraser to get that off. Okay, if you don't have a crafter square, this is a great little tool to have in your toolkit. You pick them up at Dollar Tree. Well, I guess $1.25 Tree. All right. Now you'll notice here we've got two skinny ones. That's where that 2-inch by 1-inch piece of paper comes in handy. Because what we want to do is, here we're going to cut it, and then we're going to cut it in half and stick it there. But we're going to stamp it all together as one. And you can see the yellows from our previous side. See that? You got the yellow from the previous side. We're going to add some little pink there. All right. So we've got we've used our chip dot stamp, whatever you want to call it. We're going to use that again. I'm just going to kind of stamp this all over just to kind of, I don't know, make it feel like confetti, a party, whatever you want to call it. Just going to add this here. All right. Then I'm going to take our word party and I'm just going to stamp that randomly in here in any which way I so choose. And I'm just going to use all the colors. I'm going to use the pink and the green and the yellow, and we're just going to have it's going to be a party. Okay. Again, and you don't have to get all of the word in there, just however many times you want, whatever you want. There's no right or wrong way to this. It's just a random pattern. And you just kind of change up how you do it. Oh, I don't know. Maybe go that way. And maybe just one more or two more. Oh gosh, I don't know what to do. Okay. And maybe, I don't know. I'm losing my mind here. Another party. And then maybe one more yellow up here and we'll get the end of party. There we go. Okay, so that's it for that little one. We're just going to have fun with that. I think I just stuck my thumb in the ink pad. So now we want to cut this in half at 1 inch each. I'm just going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to, remember it's 2 inches. I'm just going to cut it at 1 inch. Okay. So there we've got that. Now let's go ahead and just make sure I have this going the right way. Did I do this wrong? I fucking did this wrong. No, did I do this right? There we go. For a minute there, I thought I did it wrong. I might have to. Okay. So now we're going to put these here. Make sure that you keep them so that the words flow. So make sure you have the left on the left and the right on the right. Let's go ahead and add those. All right, there we go. And then we should have 4 little pink ones. Now this, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to have them go this way here, side to side as opposed to up and down. Again, just however you want to do it. Totally your call. Okay. There we go. Hold on. Got 2 more to put on. And that will bring us to our 4th and final side. All right. Here we go. All right. I'm going to open this one more time. And we're going to go to our 4th and final side. We have 2 more little basic white squares. And for this, I was just going to put some little tiny hearts in each corner, in opposite corners. We'll put, let's see, 2 hearts up here and 3 hearts down below. And that's it. We're going to go ahead and add these to our stamp set, to our card. We've got our 4 pieces of DSP. And we are going to call this never-ending card done. Maybe we'll use this side for now. Let's go. Let's change it up a bit. All right, let's get our glue out and let's go ahead and finish up this card. All right. Let's see. There we go. And This is all we need. And then our never-ending card will be finished. Now you'll notice because this is not a standard A2, it won't fit into an A2 envelope. So I went ahead and I made for you an envelope that will fit a 5x5 card. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't actually like adhere it together. So it's all folded as it should be. So if you want to mail this, you can secure all those envelope flaps together with glue or tear and tape or whatever, and then you can use that to mail this card or give it to someone. I just didn't have time to like fully make all the envelopes. So I figured you guys could just kind of adhere the flaps together and create the envelope if you had the correct template for it. All right, that is the fourth and final side. So let's look at this never ending card. When we're back to our first, there's our, like the front of the card. Here's inside number 1, inside number 2, and then the back of our card. And then we're back to the front. So like I said, it just keeps opening. It's like the card that just keeps on giving. All right. I hope you enjoyed this one. And I hope you'll try to make this not just in this retreat, but also when you get home because you'll have the instructions. All right. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy it. Wendy's coming up next with Scrap Happy. Bye.